I embarked on a photography challenge at Disney World. 2 days, no rides, no shows, no reservations, no family, just a camera.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Hey everybody, welcome back and thanks for being a part of this fun and unique adventure. I'm about to show you some of the photos I was able to capture, but before I do, let's set the ground rules of my 2-day photography challenge at Disney World. The objective was to capture beautiful photos of all 4 Disney theme parks. No photos of people, just the buildings, attractions, the landscape, the things that Disney Imagineers designed and built. No going on rides or attending shows was allowed. The objective was to focus on the photography, not enjoying the attractions. And last, I limited myself to 1 camera with 1 lens. To keep people from saying, yeah, you had all your expensive equipment, I didn't bring anything but a mid-range mirrorless camera and 1 general purpose lens. No specialty lenses, tripods, filters, none of that. So let's go. The idea to do this came from a recent trip to the parks. When I pulled out my phone to take a photo, and like all my theme park photos, it ended up looking like this. What I see and experience in the parks never seems to be the same in my quick iPhone snaps. I realized that it's not just the limitation of my iPhone camera, but also the limitation of time and focus and intention to the art of photography. But when my family is with me, it's 100% about the memories and experiences with them, not the photography. That's when I started creating the plan and putting it into motion. I recently had a work trip in Florida, so I tacked on a few days to do this challenge. After a long day of work, I drove into Orlando in time to see the fireworks and get some nighttime photos at the Magic Kingdom. The firework photos made for great photos, of course, but I was also able to snag a few shots of the castle and Space Mountain. We like to stay on Disney World property when we go, so my hotel was Port Orleans Riverside for this trip. After a good night's sleep, I took advantage of my early park entry and headed back to the Magic Kingdom, grabbed some delicious breakfast, and started snapping some photos. Okay, I'm on an adventure today. I'm at Disney and I have my camera, and that's about it. I don't have any family, I don't have any plans really, other than I'm just gonna take photos. So normally we're moving too fast and we have too many things to do, and I can't stop and, look at the details. So that's today's goal, see what we end up with. I stayed through mid-afternoon, but it was so extremely hot that I decided to go back to the hotel, jump in the pool to cool off, and take a poolside nap. Feeling refreshed, I strapped my camera back on and headed to Epcot. I specifically wanted a photo of the monorail passing in front of Spaceship Earth, which is the Epcot ball, but that turned out to be a serious exercise in patience. It took me about 15 minutes for the first monorail to go by, and I quickly learned that I was in a terrible spot for that photo. Another 15 minutes of waiting, and I actually got what I was looking for, but I knew I could do better. So another 15 minutes of waiting on another monorail, and I finally got the shot I was looking for. 3 things worked against me during my time at Epcot. First, it was the most crowded of all the parks that day. Second, there was a rainstorm in the forecast, so I was trying to move fast to get out before it hit. And lastly, Epcot is just my least favorite of the parks. Scandalous, I know, but it's just not my jam. I still got some good shots around the World Showcase and got out of there ASAP to catch the Skyliner over to Hollywood Studios before the storm hit. I got there and inside for some dinner just in time. The bottom fell out of the sky and it poured down rain for about an hour. So the benefit of this storm was that it helped clear out a lot of people out of the park, which allowed me to get some pretty great photos in Galaxy's Edge before the next round of rain rolled in. made it to the bus before another downpour started, and I just took that as my sign to call it a night. The next morning, I didn't rope drop because I needed to get a run in for my marathon training. Today's run was great. I'm actually doing my 4-mile run today. Something different about running on property. I did that, showered, checked out of the hotel, and headed over to Animal Kingdom for a few hours before my flight home. Great news is that there was no rain in the forecast. Bad news is it was H-O-T hot and incredibly crowded by the time I arrived. But I was still able to get some pretty great photos around the entire park. Here are the 3 things I think worked really well for this photography challenge. First was staying on property, not having transfers on and off, being able to use the hotel as a hub, getting the early park entry, that was worth it. Second was doing it solo. There were no kids, no family, no spouse, no friends. Bottom line, no distractions. I could go at my pace. And finally, here are the things that I learned doing this challenge. 1, only have one agenda. The photography was my only objective, and that worked very well. Patience is required. That is number 2. You gotta slow way down and just look around and take things in and wait for the right moment. And last, you gotta work with what you have. The weather was difficult, the crowds were difficult, lighting was difficult, and I had to adjust. Overall, this was a great experience. As I get older and have been to Disney World so many times now, I've found that I'm less interested in the rides and more interested in unique experiences. And seeing the parks from a new perspective at a much slower pace was just that. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Should you do it? Sure, if you pack your patience.